Hello kittens, welcome back. This is Seb the Cat. So, if you've been following along, we've been working on a Godot game and it's called SplitRacers. So, it's a mobile game, but it's split screen, local multiplayer. So we're dividing the screen in half and letting each player, they are able to control just 3 buttons each. So we've had to condense the controls down to just 3 buttons and still try and make it interesting. So we added a couple of press and hold mechanics, some drift mechanics, a little bit like that. Going for a sort of pixel art, 80s arcade style, so lots of synth, neon colors, CRT effects, that sort of thing. Alright, so let's jump into the game and have a look at where we got to recently. So yesterday we were working on our death animation for the player. And let's have a look, see how that feels. So we've got this. Oh, no, that is our reset animation. Okay. Okay. I think I'm just going to remove the movement on the engines. Sorry. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that engine effect just it's a bit cheesy with the engines flying out from under the ship. Let's just reset that and go back. Okay, so how's that going to look now? Yeah, okay, I'm kind of happy with that. Right. It's not the zoom effect, I think, really adds to it. So let's have a look at what the death animation looks like in the game itself.
Phase 1. Collect stars and weapons.
Okay, so we're going to collect a couple of stars. Zoom around this corner and let's just wait for our opponent in the middle, shall we? And then player 1 is going to zoom around, pick up a weapon and take aim. Let's switch over to phase 2 where our weapons come online and let's destroy some of this player's stars. Okay, and trying to run away, and I think I'm gonna die because I'm on fire. Oops, something happened here. Error connecting to signal finished during yield. Oh yeah, that's something weird I've seen in Godot. Error connected signal finished during yield. So let's have a little search for that, shall we? Error finished during yield. So I'm thinking that maybe because we're hooked into the physics process, let's just get rid of that music. Because we're hooked into the physics process, I'm wondering if that is forcibly, that function is forcibly stopped, maybe? Try putting in, oh, okay. So I think I just named that incorrectly, that signal. Okay, cool. So, right. One thing I think I'll do as well is I think I'm just going to jump into the game state. Do we have a reference to the players? No, probably should, but I'll. And maybe plus or minus will give me, I can do like a little cheat code here, right? And what are my options? Key plus. Okay. And what am I doing? Collect star. Okay, so key plus, we'll just say that is collect star for player 1. And what else can we do? Key minus is, let's just say remove star. And here we can just do remove star for player number. And that's going to look very similar, I think, to this function. So we'll just minus equals. Cool. All right, so now we can forcibly set ourselves to 0 stars to just speed that testing along. Okay.
Phase 1. Collect stars and weapons.
Cool. So I think we'll just zoom along as player 2. Oh yeah, I need to remember to fix the weapon system. So right now our cheat codes don't work because we moved the randomization of the weapons into a different section of the code. And so our cheat codes no longer allow us to specify which weapons we're picking up, which is kind of frustrating for testing. Okay, so what do we want to do? Okay, so let's use the minus key. There we go. So we can reduce the number of stars for player 1 down to 0. And then player 2, oh yeah, we can't actually give player 2. I might have to make like, if you push shift, you can pick up the weapons for player 2. I don't know whether that's going to get in the way, but all right. So if we hit this guy with the laser, he should die immediately. And it just zooms in to his corpse. and here we go. Attempted to free a locked object. Okay. So let's just queue free. on these. All right. Sweet. So, what happened here is we got on player die finished. On player die finished. Here we go. And we unloaded the level. And the next thing we want to do now. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that sequence of events. And I think maybe what we'll do is we'll do another cheat code here. If event.scan code is equal to, and what button should just kill someone? I think maybe the backspace button. So let's do key backspace. And here we're just going to say on player die finished, right? We'll just say player 1 dies every single time. Cool, so that will allow us to trigger this event in testing without going through that whole rigmarole of having to slaughter each other with weapons every single time. Okay, so once we unload the level, what we want to do, I think, is... So this is currently the world. I think the world needs to emit an event, a signal, right? So let's create a new signal, and let's call it, let's just call it victory, and it's going to get a player number, right? And then the world emits the victory, emit signal, victory with the player number. So it's kind of weird. Maybe we call it a loss or a death. Yeah, because that player number is actually referring to the dead player. So let's just call it a death. Okay. And then, who's going to listen to the death event? Well, I'm guessing the game node. So let's jump into the Godot engine and let's figure out the structure of the game. So if I jump into my main, this represents our main scene. And within our main, we've got our game scene. And so our game, we need to bubble up from inside our world, which is in here. This is our game world. And we duplicate our game world within both screens at runtime. So this world actually gets duplicated into this viewport, this screen. So you've got one screen on the left, one screen on the right. And so that world is what we're using to signal the death, because the death happens in the game world, but we need to signal it to the rest of the game state. So we want it to jump all the way up here to game, which is the first parent of the panel, the first shared parent of the panel manager and the world, right? And that's how you want to generally architect Godot signals. Is you bubble the event up, and